Look who it is, stuck in the chimney. Elvis on Christmas Eve. Of course, we got it all going. Hanukkah, Christmas, New Year's. It's the holidays, Denny. Wrap it all up. Good to see you. I love you. What did you think of Crosby tying Lemieux's assist record? And they've moved over 500. I mean, for a crappy hockey team, Sullivan is turning them around. They've made a couple moves. I like the Tomasino move. And they're playing decent hockey.
Yeah, 6-3-1 over the last 10. Like they're a point or two out of a playoff spot. And Sid's dragging them into the fight. That's what Hall of Famers do. That's what GOATs do. They drag the team that isn't very good, and you're right, back into the fight. So will they make the playoffs? I don't know. Scotty, it may be going down to the last week for a game 81 or game 82 like a couple of years ago where the Penguins get in. They're playing better. Do I think they're a top 8 team in the East? Not right now. It depends on Ottawa. I think that Pittsburgh's destiny in the playoffs, I think, are tied to Ottawa because you think Tampa's going to make it. Ottawa has gotten really good goaltending from Ullmark. They're a good offensive team. They've been playing better. They went out west and won a bunch of games. So I think that's the one team that really stands in the way because you look at the other teams below the line like, Carver High's Islanders and the Rangers. I don't know. They can't get out of their own way. So it's going to be an interesting thing, but it's good to see Pittsburgh get back on track. And then Raquel has had a really nice season, too. People forget when they traded for him, they gave him 6 large for 5 years, and it didn't really pay off, but he's had a really nice season. So it's not shocking that you're telling me the Penguins are playing better and Sid's leading the charge.
My boy, Raquel Welch, playing some decent hockey for the Penguins. I just can't believe they're ahead of the Rangers and Islanders, to be honest with you, and that they're up there 6 back of Carolina. And then I got to tell you, Florida flipped with, the Lightning in those 2 games. I watched them win that game at Rogers Place the other night, last week. That wild game, they were down 4-2, and they won it 6-5. And I think Verhaeghe had the go-ahead goal. And they reminded me that night that they were Stanley Cup champs. Do you like the way they stand right now atop the Atlantic and, all things being equal for, where they are now as opposed to winning the Cup last year?
No Stanley Cup hangover. Whatever Paul Maurice said to his team in training camp, it's worked. They're playing very, very well. I wouldn't be shocked if they repeated. Because you're right, Scotty. They're playing very. Now they dodged a bullet the other night. Remember, Kachuk got hit knee on knee by Kucherov, who's sneaky dirty, really, when you think about it. So they dodged the bullet there. But if this team stays healthy, they still have all the components. So look, game after game, you see how good Barkov is and how underrated it is. And every day he reminds me of Kopitar here in Los Angeles, a guy who's unheralded, is not a flashy guy, goes out, plays smart, plays a 200-foot game. Has a surprising wrist shot. So, the Panthers could easily repeat it. They get the play up front, and, of course, they get the goaltending from Bob. It's still a very dangerous team. This team has designs on winning back-to-back titles.
So I just want to say, Kucherov with the knee on knee. I prefer, when I'm playing basketball, the knee to the groin. I think is a more effective.
More effective, it is.
Knee on knee can, there's surgeries involved, blown out knees, not a good scene. The knee to the groin lets you know where you stand.
You mean
in the
business,
mix
exactly.
Of things. You know what I mean?
You're not well liked, exactly.
I'm telling you. So, a team that I've been interested in, and you and I talk about them a lot, is your Kings. I think, they've been on this long trip. Are they home yet? I mean, when does that end? I know they've been out here forever. And
I think in
where
June.
Do you like their situation and where they're standing right now?
Okay, so they're the best, I think the second best defensive team in the league. This team is not flashy. I think they're 13th in offense. And I think at the trade deadline, Rob Blake's got to go out and get another score on the wing. I think they're short a forward up front that has some touch. But they play great defense. Darcy Kemper, who came back in the trade for Dubois, who did nothing here in 1 year in Los Angeles, has been good, .915 save percentage. So they're a pesky team. They're a really good team, Here's the problem. If they play the playoffs right now, it would be the 4th consecutive season they play the Edmonton Oilers in the playoffs. And I don't know if they can still beat them. Like, it's a different team. Edmonton's a little bit different than lost some players, but it's a sneaky good team. It's a team that should definitely make the playoffs. I think when I look at the West, I see 4 teams from the Pacific and 4 from the Central. The Kings are a nice story, right? Are they deep enough and are they talented enough to win 4 rounds? I don't know. But, Scotty, they haven't won a playoff round since they won the Cup in 2014. That's too long. maybe this team could do it primarily because of their defense. They know how to check. They play defense well, and that's why they're winning games right now.
Do you like going to their games?
Oh yeah, I'm fine with it. Yeah, they're not the most exciting team in the world. I get it. I understand that it's not the Edmonton Oilers, but a win's a win. There's some games. Look, in November when they play Columbus on a Tuesday night, is it a thrilling game and is the arena packed in LA? No, it's not. Right, but once it gets to the playoffs, it's still a great fan base. Yeah, it's not the most thrilling hockey in the world, Scotty. I get it. But you got to win games. That's what Jim Hiller behind the bench is paid to do, is to pay to win games. And with this team that doesn't have an abundance of offensive talent, you got to win games. And how do you do that? You check and you play defense.
So let's take a break from the hockey for a second and review Mama Patty's birthday and the trip to Vegas. How was the Eagles at Sphere and Garth Brooks?
Okay, so the Eagles was a performance. Right, and they had Scott. They sold, for U2. I saw U2 at Sphere, and they didn't sell any seats on the floor. It was a standing room. They put seats in the floor for Eagles, and because the fans are like our age, you couldn't stand up. So if you bought a ticket on the floor for a seat, you couldn't stand up. There was no standing rule. It was interesting because they just performed. There's no interaction with the crowd or anything. Even Don Henley said, and he got up there and said, well, there's 160,000 speakers, at the Sphere here, and it's, some pretty pictures, but we're just about the music. No, you shouldn't be about the music if you're playing at the Sphere. It's the technology is great. The next night, you have just 180 degrees or maybe 270 degrees with Garth Brooks, an entertainer who loves the crowd, who loves the adoration, who connects with the crowd. Granted, we had great seats. We were in the third row for her birthday. I get it. But the way he connects to his fan base, and they know every word of every song, it was such a different experience, Scotty. It was. And to be frank, I have friends who work with the Eagles and manage them, but I enjoyed the Garth Brooks show so much better because he connects with the crowd.
Wow. Where was that concert? Was that at Sphere too?
No, that was the Coliseum. He has a residency at Caesars. So it's about a 6,000 seater. Yeah. But he is so great. We've seen him twice. We might go back again in March. The Kings play the Vegas Golden Knights on Sunday. We might see them on Saturday. But, two great shows, but two very, very different shows.
Where did you take her for dinner in Vegas? Did you have any good dinners?
No, we did. Mr. Chow with all white tablecloth, and they served a nice, red chili sauce that I spilled all over the table. It was fantastic. But Mr. Chow was great too. It was fantastic. And then we went to Peter Luger Steakhouse the night before. So I went all
New York institution.
Yeah, it's mommy's birthday. I got to go all in. So Peter Luger Friday night, Mr. Chow Saturday night.
Are you surprised the Dallas Stars are where they're sitting right now?
No, because they don't care. They care about the playoffs, right? And they're not getting great goaltending from Ottinger. They don't care. If they finish first, second, third, or wild card, they don't care. Because these teams are so close, Scotty, it doesn't really matter. Home ice doesn't matter. So they're just playing for game 83 and game 84. They need Tyler Seguin back. He's been out with hip surgery. But I wouldn't be concerned with a Dallas Star fan. They're deep, they're smart, they're talented, and they have a pretty good goaltender.
And Vegas looks good, even without Marshall Show anymore.
Yeah. They got a chip on their shoulder, Scotty. Like, be careful of a team because you know what? They're still pissed from last year. They went out in game 7, round 1 against Dallas, who was the better team. This team's on a mission. Eichel's playing like a MVP candidate. Aiden Hill's playing great. They still have a deep, big defense. This team could do a lot of damage in the postseason.